It is 5:15. All council members are here, and Paul Pickett will be joining us via the phone because he's out of town. We are going to go ahead and start with item number 1, approval of minutes for August 13th, 2024.
I'll motion to approve the minutes for August 13th, 2024.
I second it.
Okay. Can I go ahead and get a vote?
Yeah, Ms. Turner. Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Mr. Hawk.
Aye.
Mr. Pickett. By phone?
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Cotter.
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez.
Aye. All right, that has been passed, and we'll go ahead to item number 2 for citizen comments. You are welcome to come up to the mic and speak for up to 3 minutes, and Jennifer will keep time, and Patty will have a form for you to fill out for any citizen comments, so please come up.
My name is Dylan Barney. I'm a resident of Murray, and the comments I have are pertaining to the discussion item on the property located at 4889, and I'm not sure if this is appropriate time or I should wait until after that's discussed. Now, the concern I have is that the building that's there, I'd like to see kept in its historical architectural style without changing it a lot so that it can maintain some of the unique characteristics of that particular building. The other concern I have is parking. The property that building is on is only big enough for that building. There is adjacent parking, but that's a separate, distinct property than the one that it is sitting on. And the parking that is there is in disrepair, and there's some parking just to the south of that, but that's also a separate parcel. There's some property to the west of it, a small parcel that's got some electrical or some utility boxes on it that is also a separate parcel. So are those going to be combined together, or are they going to be separate, or where are they going to be parking? And the reason that parking comes to my mind is there's a basketball facility that's close to here that when they have their games going, they have people parked up and down 4th Avenue and also on Box Elder Street, which creates a traffic congestion and limits the ability for the emergency vehicles to get through. And I would like to see if there's some way that some signs could be put on the residential property that could be specified for residential parking only. Also on the northeast corner where that 4889, there is some type of utility box, and it makes it where that is not ADA compliant, where people that need to use it either in a wheelchair or know where they're at. There's trip hazards. There's hazards where a wheelchair cannot go across that area very easily. And it would be, if that property was to be turned into a reception, not a reception, but a restaurant, that there may be people that would need to go across that particular area. And right now, the property type is a reception center, and other than the concerns I brought up, I see no big problem with. I've got 30 seconds left to finish up what I'm saying. With that becoming a restaurant, as long as those conditions are looked at and something is done to remediate when they put in a dumpster, something to make that area look presentable. Thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Susan Wright. I'm a resident of Murray for 40 years and also a business owner. I'm here to talk about the chapel, my little church. Kind of a walk down memory lane here because some of you probably don't realize that church was on 48th and Poplar. And back in 1986, me and my husband moved it. We went to Murray City. We knew it was going to be demolished. And so we talked to Murray City, and they gave us that church if we would move it. It was costly. We had to buy the property across the street from the mansion, which we had just restored, and we're doing weddings, and we thought we could use that. So we bought the old house across the street and had to pay to tear it down. Then we had to pay to have it moved. And then we had to hook up all the utilities, and it was costly. And we made a beautiful little church out of it. And we used it for weddings and other things and put in a beautiful garden. We needed property to the side of it, and Murray City was willing to make us a really good deal on the old Blair property. So that they were very helpful, that council, in what we did. We renovated many buildings on that corner, and the council supported us. They were very good. So now, this is like Yogi Berra says, deja vu all over again. Now the church is needing a new owner. I don't know what genius ever let the person have salvage rights on that church when they sold it. Lucero, we sold it to Lucero, and he sold it to Murray City, and then they stripped it. It's basically a garage. It has nothing. And so it will take a lot of money. Annie is a business person like we are, and we know what it takes to renovate these buildings. We know what it takes. We had to mortgage everything we had to move that church to make it work, and she's doing the same thing. And I don't think her offer is unreasonable that she has made, because our property up on State, which is a parking lot, our taxes, it says it's appraised for $215,000. It's a little bit longer than the church's property. And I know it's a little more valuable because it's on State. But her offer really isn't out of the ballpark. If I run the council, I'd give her that church. I'd give her the church, because she's going to put like $800,000 into it. It's going to take a long time for her to get that money back. And she is going to be the linchpin of this little Murray Town Square that we want to do, which the mayor had named it Murray Town Square, where we renovate the other little places so we can have things down here. And we need her here. An office building will not do anything for this area, but a restaurant will. She has a huge following, and we really need to have her down here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So here I am again. Annie Suksui, I'm the owner of T. Rose Diner, and I've been there for 17 years. Passed to a lot of different things. The COVID hit, everything hit, survived. And I do the restaurant because I love the way, the thing work. I love my job. I love everything. I love my people. And I give a lot of people opportunity. And to be in the T Rose right now is the building is a little bit too small for me now with the customer that have. When Phil talking about, and Susan talked to me about the chapel, and then so I was jump right on, because my plan is I want to bring the breakfast back. T Rose used to serve breakfast in the morning, and so we want to continue to make the church, the chapel look more, like the old way, with a little bit extend to it. We want to have like the stair down through the downstairs, so you can have a venue or meeting on the downstairs, or like the wedding or some sort, small party downstairs. And I know like my offer is a little bit low, as you can say, but I have, like the last time, someone afraid that I'm gonna fail. But how is that gonna making sense in the time that I have to put the effort and put the money into it to make it look better? The long I put it in, is the better it's gonna look. And then we have a lot of followers, like I guess it's like with a lot of customer that been tell me not to give up, and I never give up anyway. I come from, nothing. I come from zero. I come from Thailand. And I have to fight every step to be where I am, right here by myself. And I didn't have the family here. And then I'm lucky I have a good partner and a good friend and family. And you guys, the Murray City been awesome to me the whole way. So I hope you consider me to get the chapel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Howard Brown, and I'm a at least 30-year resident of Murray. I also would like to speak on behalf of Annie and the chapel property over there. Annie, for, as she said, 17 years, has more or less been a linchpin business in this area. She draws people from all over the city and the county to that area. She also draws people from other parts of the state. I know people who come here from other parts when they are in town will always stop at Annie's and for a meal. I know people who actually come from out of state, and when they are in town, they come fairly frequently. They also stop at Annie's. Annie's has a reputation as an extremely good restaurant in Thai food, which a lot of people love. And so people do come to this area. Keeping her here, I think, would be of vital interest to the council, because you are drawing people to this area that you are looking to develop and have people come. And especially if you are looking to make it into an area where people will be here and then go and see other things. My family came down, by the way, I would like to compliment you last year on your Christmas display. It was amazing. People came far and wide to see that. And we came down, and the first thing we did was stop at Annie's and have a meal. Then we came out, listened to the music, walked around for an hour, at least an hour, and just watched the trees and everything change and the music. It was incredible. So thank you very much for that. But I also think that you would see, with keeping Annie's business in this area, the same kind of things for other projects you may have during the course of the year, that people will come, they have a place to go and also enjoy something, and then go out for a leisurely stroll or to partake of whatever else you bring into the area. I would also like to say that her restaurant draws a diverse culture, and so you are bringing diversity into this area as well, for people to participate in other things. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Tanner. I sent each one of you last week a little brief on what it would be to ban Airbnb and VBRO. But I want to talk about something I didn't hear in that other room real quick, and that was the average house in our area is over $600,000 a year. I didn't hear one thing talked about the kid who's trying to bust his butt out of college.
Sorry to stop you. So we're in a redevelopment agency meeting, and those items would be for the council. So if you have anything to speak about on the agenda today or on that.
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to bring that up. So
For-
the RDA.
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm sorry. I should connect it all together and present my brief before I speak. But I saw the thing where it was $500,000 for jail, and we didn't put. I would split the difference with them. I would say, let's build some really low income housing. How many of you guys want grandkids? Because guess what? When they get a nursing degree, they leave Utah. How many of you want like real tech to show up? Can't afford it here. And I know, because I hire tech people, any job that can be co-located will be. And here's the thing, is that we cannot afford this stuff. We cannot afford to be giving money. They're going to spend $610 million. $610 million. You can see the people shaking their head, even over $500 a month for taxes. But we do not have a progressive income tax in Utah. The reason why, and I saw in the thing where you guys were saying, hey, we need to incentivize workers to give people that work for the county and stuff someplace, a little bit of money so they can have someplace to live. Well, everybody needs a place to live. I'm really sorry that this might not be exactly into the spec, but I think that we really want to have people have grandkids, be able to visit their grandkids, and be able to go with what we have for like 15 years in Utah. But now the growth is just killing us. And if we don't manage this really well, we're done. So we can't go spending that $500 million on stuff if we don't even take care of the people that are trying to do the things by the rules. Thank you so much. I'm Michael Tanner. Thank you for taking this moment with me.
Okay, anybody else?
Hello, Council. Clark Bullen, District 3, Murray. I understand the desire to be prudent with city resources, and I truly appreciate how the council went over the budget with a fine-tooth comb. As costs have risen for many citizens, being good stewards of their tax dollars is ever more important. But I believe the situation with the sale of the chapel property is different. As the council and the RDA board, you wear different hats, and the purpose of the RDA is to encourage investment in underutilized and blighted areas. RDA money is supposed to be spent on economic development to stimulate the economy and revitalize the area. We should be looking for ways to spend RDA money while saving the city money. The RDA has constituents beyond the citizens of Murray. The RDA doesn't solely belong to us. We owe a return to our investors, including Salt Lake County, our school district, the library, Central Valley Water District, Mosquito Abatement District. They don't want us to sell properties for a little more money. They want economic activity and more continuous tax revenue, property tax, sales tax, restaurant tax. The T Rose has proven to be an asset to the city. We want more restaurants like this downtown, not less. $155,000 difference for another offer that I saw may seem like a lot, but in the scheme of things for the entire downtown project, that amount won't be material to the desired outcome that we seek. And we could easily spend that much money trying to entice restaurants like T Rose to locate in our revitalized historic downtown. We shouldn't sell to someone else for what amounts to the price of 1 or 2 stalls in a parking structure. Annie has proven that she is a good steward of city resources and that she is a good business to have in Murray. We should invest in businesses like hers. It is completely worth it. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? All right, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item. Item number 3, discussion consideration of requests to purchase the property located at 4889 South Hownauer Street, also known as the Chapel property. Go ahead, Phil.
And the mayor has asked if he could have just a few moments of my presentation time, so I will yield to the mayor.
Thank you so much. In almost 3 years, I've never done this, but I felt impressed that I need to take part of with the CED today. I just want to let you know that we all have our different opinions and we respect that. We may not agree, we all know that. But I feel like this is an important issue. I've heard a little bit, because I've had the opportunity to visit with most of you, concerns, and this may change, we know things change, but concerns about the cost. And I want to remind everyone that you've got an offer of 125 and then an offer of 275. There's another offer, I'm not even sure you'll consider if there's other issues on that, but another offer. But I just wanted to make sure to remind us all that when we talk about a difference of about 150,000 between those two, And I know it sounds like, oh, that's maybe not a good thing to do, but similar to what Clark had said, we all remember a few months ago, we did that over at Triumph. We took almost $4 million less. You know why? Because we didn't want what the person that could offer almost $14 million to us, we didn't want apartments. And that's what happens when we ask, and to be honest with you, I didn't understand this 10 years ago. I kind of wish I did, but you look at this and you say, wow, what do we want here? What do we want? An office building? I personally don't want an office building over there in the chapel. I think that would be a waste. I think we've talked, we always talk about the survey the citizens gave us. Do you remember what they want? They want quaint restaurants. That was a huge thing they want. We have a quaint restaurant here. Someone said it'd be horrible. I think it'd be a travesty if we lost, and I understand that's not what you did when you voted. I totally get that. I want to make sure everyone knows there was a difference of opinion and there might be other ideas that are going to come up. And some of you have asked me if Annie would be willing to move or stay where she's at. And those are questions that we'll have to ask Annie. I believe at the time when Doug and I talked to her, Jeff and her were not interested in doing that. That may change. But just remember that we don't have to take the highest amount. We didn't over there because we wanted to have something different over there. And so that was important to us. But I just want to make sure that you know where I stand. I've kind of sometimes have listened to people and I thought, oh, that's probably not a bad idea. That might be a good idea. But when I really think about it, I've heard more from citizens than I've almost heard of anything while I've been in office that wants Annie to stay. I think everyone wants Annie to stay. I really believe that. But I believe Annie wants to stay here and grow and be in the chapel. And as Delynn Barney said, that we are required to keep that. You guys have made it to where we're required to keep it historical. So when you do that, we limit who can buy because we're requiring it to be historical still. And Annie has agreed to do that. She's agreed to keep it historical. I also want to, it's already been reiterated, but 17 years, do we need longer to prove that she can run a business? I don't. 17 years is a long time. Did you say you're from Thailand?
Yes.
From Thailand. That's impressive to come here and spend 17 years and in our city. And we don't have to guess and say, I wonder how she'll do. Just drive by any time. Her place is parked. She parks them over at Susan Wright's place and also around the building. So personally for me, we'll respect whatever your decision is. May not agree with it, but we'll respect it. But I'm here asking that we let Annie purchase the chapel. That's what we would recommend. And Brenda had mentioned a couple things to me, and I'd like her to come forward and just share some information that she has. And thank you.
So Clark probably hit it pretty close. The purpose of the RDA is to generate economic development. And this money came from the county. Most of it probably came from the county. It came from the city a little bit, the money that was used to purchase the chapel. It came from the Mosquito Abatement District, probably not a ton of money from them. They don't charge a lot of tax. It came from our library, and all of them was to generate more property tax, which right now, that chapel is sitting there and it's not on the property tax rolls. And more economic development. Well, the first thing we do is if you put an office building, if you put housing there, that's the lowest level of property tax you'll get. Second level is commercial. We'll get 100% of whatever the assessed value is. Once she does this renovation, that's going to make that property worth a whole lot more money. What she will do that a office building won't is generate sales tax and the restaurant tax. And that's what we want. We want somebody in there, the county wants somebody in there generating taxes. Then we have money to operate the city. So that's one. The other one is I eat at the T Rose a lot. And at lunch, it's full. So yes, she could stay where she's at, but she's limited to the number of people that she can put in there and the number of sales she can do because of the size of the restaurant. The chapel's bigger. You can just look at it. even my non-spatial, it's a bigger space. She'll have more tables, more ability to sell, and it'll be an economic driver. So personally, as a resident of Murray City, I would love to see the T Rose over there. I've been saying that since we bought the place years ago, that we should put the T Rose in there. As a finance director, very conservative, I hate spending money, you all know that. I would love to get a ton of money for both those properties, but in the long run, we will probably get more and our citizens will be happier if we just sell it to the T Rose, let her invest her $500,000 to $800,000 that she'll need to turn that into a restaurant, and we know it will succeed. And yeah, we're going to get $9 million from Triumph. The extra $150,000 you get from the Kebab Boys or whoever else might want to buy this, it truly is not going to make a whole lot of difference on what we do. Because what are we going to do with $200,000? With the $9 million, we'll build a parking garage somewhere, I hope, if we can find a place. A couple $100,000 to the RDA. I'd rather have the property tax for the city once the RDA stops collecting. And so that's kind of my finance director point of view.
Thank you. Does the board have any specific questions before, or even for Phil or any of the staff?
How much does a parking garage cost?
It's about $35,000 a stall.
So we're saying 9 million for that, 3 million for a park, that's 12 million.
We also have park impact fees.
So that even if we add up all that money, we're short of what we want to do,
Yeah, I don't know.
right?
What 3 million for what park?
What park?
The historical plaza right here is $3 million.
Yeah, at some point, yes, that could happen. That could be city money eventually, or it could be RDA money. And we do, the RDA itself, this area, brings in about $1 million and it has $1 million worth of debt service. But you start adding more businesses to it. You get Block 1 developed, Annie gets her thing developed, somebody else develops the place next to them, we will start collecting more taxes, which will provide more property taxes, which will provide more TIF money, which will then probably allow us to do the plaza. Plaza is probably the last thing personally I would do, besides keep those buildings looking as good as we can until that point, and then parking garage, and then we work on the plaza. Little at a time, big time, but yeah. Yeah, we might be short.
Okay.
Any questions for me? I would like to call Orden Yost up to talk to you about his marketing efforts for the chapel. He's been working on it for a while now, and I have received 3 offers. They have not all been presented to you because the third offer came in after the RDA planning meeting when we presented that to the planning group. So after Orden speaks, I would like to just discuss an option going forward with you that we can see if you have questions with that in the future. But Orden, if you'd come up. And if you would just explain some of the marketing you've done and your anticipation with offers coming forward.
RDA Board, it's nice to be before you again. Thank you. We've really been marketing this building since your last meeting because we felt that there was not reason to market it until a decision was made on your previous offer by the T Rose. In the interim, we've received 3 other offers, and interestingly, we're not looking or accepting any offers on anything except for what is be providing retail food in that building. So as much as I like Annie's, there are others who are interested in that building who do food and who have good businesses, been in the business for 10, 15 years, have multiple locations like Annie has, and have offered more money. We have a group who's made an offer on the vacant land and on the chapel combined, which has some advantages to that, in that the chapel would be prepared for a tenant, and any of the food tenants, we're not looking at anything that would be in a office type use. We're looking only for retail type use. That's what I've been directed by Phil, and that's what we're doing. There probably are another 5 offers out there. If we could extend a time frame and give people an opportunity to understand what's wanted and what's needed there. I think it's fairly clear from comments tonight that we want something, which is what we've been marketing for, something there that draws activity, something that does a service for food in our area, and that if we could do that in combined with another project at the same time, so that benefits of development and parking could benefit that area totally. And we do have an offer on that, and we have a couple of other offers that will come in on that if you can give us a specific timeline to get it done and get them to you. Any questions, recommendations?
At this point, what specifically do you have? Do you have that, what offers do you have?
Okay, we have an offer from the Bob Group, and they are, which you have seen, and they're a food store. And like the other food store that's offered, they would build on the back side of the building, being the west side, a kitchen, and would do a soup sandwich meal on the upper floor, and would run a retail shop in the bottom floor, which is kind of difficult to get to. Then there are the other one to develop multifamily on the vacant lot, and to develop the chapel in the mains has been determined and suggested. We'll keep it like it is. No one is going to do something to the chapel that would make it feel disfranchised to the city, because we're not going to approve anything like that.
But that would also include a multifamily unit?
That could include a multifamily unit on the 0.3 acres to the south of the chapel. Which is what zoning provides there, even with the new zoning that will be approved hopefully by the end of the year. A form-based zoning will approve that.
Right. Yeah, we are still in the process of developing the form-based code, so I would suspect that wouldn't fit that model of the form-based code.
No, I'm getting different reports of that, but you would know better than I would.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Any other questions?
So you've really been marketing it for a couple of weeks?
For about a month now. And we have a lot of inquiries, and part of the questions are about in regards to the form base. What is that going to kind of look like? In the discussions I've had with staff, it's indicated that it would still be a multi-use area. Not a CCD, but a multi-use area.
Right.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, and so we're still in the process of that and
Certainly.
don't really know. What is the appraisal of the property?
The appraisal of the chapel, I have it. Yes, sir, thank you. It's 500 and some change, and the other parcel is 600 and some change.
Which is interesting since one doesn't have a structure and the other one does. And
Well, the one that doesn't have the structure is the one that provides not having to work with that structure. And the original appraisal on that was 850,000 when we had a previous director here, when Jared Hall was here. The appraisal we got then was that amount for the chapel parcel. So it's changed dramatically based on the criteria the city has put on what needs to go there and how it needs to look.
Gotcha.
And the other piece, since it's vacant, is the reason that, and it's a little bit larger, that's the reason that that's a little, about 100,000 more.
Okay, and then if Annie were to move to the chapel, then there would, her area, her structure would be open. And do you have any idea what the value of that would be?
I have no idea. I don't think that.
I kind of.
I don't think that the structure has any value at all at Annie's current location.
Okay, yeah, because I don't think we want, I think we want T. Rose to stay. I mean, I don't think we want T. Rose to move from Murray.
But there isn't any reason that T. Rose can't be a tenant in the chapel with the other potential offers that we have.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, explain that.
That means that if they chose to, they could be the tenant and rent that property, just like they're renting the T. Rose at this current time. Because the developers at the adjacent property would want to put in and needs to put in a retail, and they would be
Is that the
contacted and worked with.
third offer that you're talking about?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right.
And any other offers that I've been talking with that are forthcoming, if you choose to entertain them, would also make that opportunity available.
So is the third offer the residential one, where he would go in and do whatever he does to the chapel and then build on that south side of the of the chapel?
That's
Is
correct.
that the one you're talking about?
That's-
That will be residential? That could possibly be residential?
Yes, that's one of the offers that has been provided to Phil,
Okay.
Mr. Markham. And then I have 2 or 3 others that are in preparation if you choose at this meeting to extend a time frame to look at other offers. And in those discussions I've had with those potential developers is that the city would like to have a restaurant in that property, and that there's one local, and they are willing to work with a local user to go there.
But will they follow the code or whatever?
Absolutely.
That
They have
we
to follow the
put
code.
on-
Absolutely
That
have
we
to
have-
follow it.
That we have put on that chapel?
Absolutely. They can't do anything else.
The kebab place, or are you talking about the one with the residential?
The
or
kebab
both?
would do similar to what you're used to at Annie's
Okay,
building.
okay.
They do everything the same way. They've evaluated the property, and they have 2 existing restaurants, one in South Salt Lake and one in Midvale,
Right.
that they've run for some time. And they would do that. I mean, it's difficult for me to speak for them, but in their offers, this is what they've said.
Okay.
But the other developers who would develop the whole parcel would look for a user that would fit the description that the T. Rose has, or the description that the Bob Place has.
Okay.
That's what they would look for. They would go with whatever the city would like to see there, and they'd like to support that.
Okay.
It's much easier to develop the whole parcel at one time than it is to split it up and then try to find a way to make them work. That's a very small parcel.
Right.
When we're done with Orton, I would like to call Annie up. I'd just like to ask her a few questions when Orton is all done.
I have some questions for Phil.
Yeah.
Any
Me
other
too.
questions?
Not for
No, thank you, Orton.
No.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Orden.
One thing I would like to mention, part of the motivation that Annie has expressed to me, and I believe the Kebab brothers share the same motivation, is the chapel purchase is an opportunity to own a building and own property and own the entire business. Both of those individuals currently rent multiple locations, and they own the business, they don't own the property. And there's a significant difference in that, in the business model and also in the wants and aspirations of those businesses. But Orden alluded to a couple of things that I would like to talk to you about. One is we are obviously getting more interest. And to be fair to you folks and to the general public that is providing these offers, I think it would be best if the council would consider at the next meeting an action item to establish a date certain that you will accept offers up to. And then at the following either that meeting or the following meeting, you could make a decision on what you want to do. And by putting it in the future, that gives Orden enough time to get these tentative offers that he's been talking to people about, allow them to come in, allow everyone to examine them. And also, it gets us closer to the implementation of the form-based code. I don't think that it's wise right now to interview. If last month, if you had agreed with the T-Rose, it wouldn't have been much of a problem at all. That would have been easy to manage. However, where we have a lot of people speculating now, they don't know what exactly the code is going to be for this area, how tall they can be, how large, a lot of things. And you're going to get a lot of different proposals, I would think. And so it would be really tough to accept something that has a multifamily or a mixed use without knowing exactly what the form-based code will allow. That wouldn't be fair to them or the city. So those are the two factors, I think, looking forward with options to sell the chapel to whoever you decide. And so I would like to have that considered and, know that there's a date that we can tell people you've got to get it in by a certain date in order to be reviewed by the planning, the RDA planning meeting, and then that RDA meeting. And a decision could be made. Okay. Any questions with regard to that? Would you still like Annie to come forward?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
want to ask her a few questions.
All right. Annie, please.
Hi, thank you for being here. Okay, so we have several pieces of property over here. We have your piece of the T. Rose place right now. Next to it is the Margaret Cahoon House. And then we have the chapel, the Margaret Cahoon House, the one that is attached kind of to your place. I think it's called, it's Margaret Cahoon House.
It's the house right next to
It's
the
right
you're
next to
building
your
now.
house, right next to your
so
business.
The flower house, you mean?
But I don't know what it's called. I've just been told it was called
The
Margaret.
house, yeah.
The flower house.
The
Yes.
flower house, right. I'm just using terminology that I have been given. Do you want, if you could stay there, would you want the flower shop and take that wall down and expand your business into the flower shop? Or is your heart centered on getting a chapel that I know you are going to sink a lot of money into it? Because right now, it is a shell. It has no toilets, no furnace, no heater, no wall switches. I've walked in that place. It's a shell. And you want to come in and put your money into the chapel. But if you had the flower shop and your restaurant right now, would you want that? Or you want to go into that chapel?
So, like, to me, doesn't matter to the Tea Rose or to the chapel, I still gonna have to spend a lot of money to.
Exactly.
Because of a Tea Rose Diner right now, if I'm not there, I cannot sell that place. It's not gonna pass the code. For the health department, not gonna pass the code. I will be the last Tea Rose Diner right there. I cannot sell it to somebody else. And we've been talked a while ago to knock the wall from the Tea Rose to make the seating outside right in front of the flower house.
Yeah.
And obviously, the flower house is far behind to the kitchen. And that Tea Rose kitchen, if you can imagine that my cook cannot walk past each other without sexual harassment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they have to
It's narrow.
squeeze in and out. Like the one inside never gonna come out without touching the other one. I used to have a fat cook, and he cannot survive. And then so like my people is really little. And on the chapel, like, like when the parents tell you that you're gonna go on shopping or take you somewhere, and then they keep telling you that. And so you have your heart set. You just thought like, okay, I gonna go shopping. I gonna go do something, go to the, to the place with my parent, and then I keep like broken heart over and over, I feel like. And
Yep.
so on the chapel, I wish to have it. And then I have the plan of, like on the chapel building itself, I gonna make like a coffee place. So it's well maintained and don't have to, I feel like if you use a lot, it's like, because it's an old building, it will look pretty nice. So I thought about like putting more like a coffee house when you walk in and be the coffee, and I have a breakfast place on the top. And on the bottom of the chapel, it's gonna be like, I already talked to the construction people, and then we're gonna make like the stair to go on the south side. And so it's gonna open it up, so that way the sun can go downstairs, and then it will be where you make an event. And on the back of the Tea Rose, it's gonna be, we're gonna make it a little bit look like L shape, and then I will continue with the brick, so we'll match it up, and doesn't look like I put something new in. And the bottom will be the glass, and the top will be more like a seating up on the top deck with the open. That's what my dream that I have for the chapel right now, if I can have it.
Okay. Thank you.
So I do my homework a little
You
bit.
did. You
Any
did.
other questions for Annie? No? Okay. Thank you,
Thank
Annie.
you, Annie. Thank you.
Okay, Phil.
Okay.
So I have 2 action items that you are wanting. So should we receive more offers and to have a specific date by when, correct?
Right.
Before we get into action, I'm just going to ask you one question.
Sure.
I want to separate Tea Rose Diner for a second,
Yeah.
okay? Let's just talk about this philosophically, what's going on. So our plan calls for where Tea Rose Diner is to be a restaurant dining area.
Where it currently is?
Where it currently is.
No.
That's what the
No.
plaza calls for.
No, the plaza would call for the removal of the present
And
Tea
we'll
Rose
replace
Diner.
it with a,
And they have like an outdoor seating area.
and
with,
who would use that outdoor seating area?
those are things that haven't been completely fleshed out. We had a conceptual plan put together for the plaza, and all of those features in the plaza are up for discussion when funding comes into the picture. Some of them could be funded, some of them may be funded at a later date, some of them would be eliminated. That's entirely up for discussion.
Because I've told you this, but I really struggle with our plan that we're saying we have a successful restaurant in this place. We're going to tear it down and put in place pretty much restaurant seating. It just doesn't make sense to me.
You know, something else could be put in there too. As I said, that's all up for discussion. The problem with the T Rose Diner, as Annie mentioned, it's really not functional. You couldn't go in there today. When she ceases operation there, no one will be allowed to go back in because there's no way they could bring it up to current code. She is basically like a non-conforming use, legal non-conforming use that is in there that would not be allowed in the future.
So she's grandfathered in.
She is
to the
grandfathered
space.
in, that is correct. And that's from the health department viewpoint. Zoning wise and that, it is totally illegal use, illegal.
So it probably would, even if it was her, she would have to close down, reinvest that money to get it up to code if she were to use that space, or even
Yeah,
anybody in the
and-
future.
Yeah, she just said, you
Yeah.
know, I don't think
She
that's
doesn't.
possible under the current footprint for the existing restaurant.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just talking
Sure.
that out. Any other questions?
No, but I appreciate your offer, Phil. I mean, your recommendation. I think that's a good one.
Well, my big concern, I want to be fair to everybody, okay? And Orden is making quite an effort in getting additional offers in. And I think in order for you to feel good about whatever decision you make, and for the public to feel like they've had a fair chance, we need to at least accept these offers until a certain date, a date certain, that we cut it off, and then those are considered. You can make a decision at that time. And that also takes us deeper into the fall and gets us right next to the form-based code, so that when these people are putting their ideas together on paper, they will have an idea of what is allowed in that area. So it wouldn't be fair to them for somebody to pay an exorbitant amount that just blows us away, and we say, oh, great, we get all this money, and then they can't build what they wanted to build, and that was the whole basis for their offer.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. And then we'll have all the information we need.
Sure.
And look at options. So I appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you.
And, Madam Chair, if you wanted to go to the next item, I know
Wait,
we're running
hold
a
on,
little long.
hold,
Sure.
hold on one second.
So we need a date for more, I mean, the next RDA meeting would be when?
October 15th. I believe.
15th?
Yep.
Okay, sorry, I'm just, so is there a date in that time frame to receive more offers before, by the end of the month? Do you guys?
What would you recommend?
You know, it's entirely up to you. We have the RDA planning meeting, you know, that first week in October. So, you know, realistically, the end of the month would probably work well for us to put those offers together and be able to present them to the
Would be
RDA planning.
presented to us?
The end of
Yeah.
September is what you're
If you
saying.
want, if you want to do it in October.
Do we want to do it in October, or do we want to do it in November?
I kind of would like to approach the chair that we make a vote the first Tuesday of October.
Okay.
On with Annie getting the chapel. We are going to get tons of offers.
The RDA meeting will be on the 15th
Yeah.
of
But
October.
I was told that I can ask the chair to have an
Special meeting.
RDA meeting on that first Tuesday.
Okay, sure, that's,
And
It's
we're going to
entirely up to you
get
folks.
lots and probably offers, and then we're going to have to hold off. And then we're going to have to hold off for the form-based code. And then those offers are going to be gone. And Annie may be gone. And I would like to take a vote on that first Tuesday of October, asking the RDA board about having Annie taking the chapel.
okay, and that's a decision for the
And
RDA
I'm
board.
approaching the chair on this.
So I'll just chime in. That means all the offers would have to be in a week from today. So we'd have a
If ordinance says that there's lots of offers out there, they'll get them to us. If they are not out there, then they're not going to come.
I'd prefer the 15th, if we're going to do it in
I
October.
do too.
Well, ask Paul. if he's still on the line.
Paul?
I just think we're,
Did you ask me a question?
Would you want to take the vote on the 1st of October or the 15th, where our regular scheduled RDA meeting is?
I'm comfortable with either date. Thank you.
Sorry, what did he say? Okay. So it
You're
pretty
the
much
chair.
comes down to me.
yep.
I'm comfortable. Oh, I don't know. Could we, go ahead, Mayor.
Can I question?
Yes.
Would you want to do, this is just a question, would you want to do October, what's the first?
October 1st.
October
First? Would you want to do October 1st for a discussion? Have two RDA meetings, one October 1st, and then you can have a discussion about what you're going to do and then vote on it on the 15th?
Would that give us enough time to?
Well, you're talking October
offers.
1st or 15th anyway. You're not
Right.
talking any other day as of right now.
Yeah, I prefer the
that gives you
15th.
A month.
Well, that would
Well-
still give Orden until about the 27th to get offers, so 10 days from now.
Okay.
And then.
But that
we
would give him, he would get the offer. We as a council would see the offer.
We're
How long
not,
would it
it's
take?
not
The
the
RDA
council, it's the
board.
RDA
Oh,
board.
the RDA, okay. When
Yes. We have to
When
remember,
we as
we
the
have
RDA
that
board
hat
would
on.
actually get it into our inbox and actually look at it, are we talking the 30th? Like, we're getting 24 hours to look at
Probably
it?
the first.
The first, so we'd get it that morning and be discussing it that evening. And we'd have 0 time to weigh it.
Doesn't
That's-
give us any time.
I mean, usually we get about a week or two at the very least.
So if we had any questions, we couldn't ask any of them.
And
We'd
from
have
what
to-
I've heard, we've only gotten 3, we have the 3 offers.
But we
don't-
have 2 potential more.
Well, we have Annie's, we have the kebab, and we have the other person that wants to put residential, which doesn't flow with the
But
plan
Orden said
out
he
there.
has potential others that could
Yeah.
be coming in the next couple weeks.
Well, if they really
think-
want it, they'll bring it in tomorrow.
I think this is opening up for more offers and more decisions to be made. Sorry, I'm just looking at my calendar here. Because I know Orden will do whatever we ask him to do.
That's true.
Yeah. When is our next RDA meeting?
It's October 15th. The scheduled
But the
one is
one,
October 15th.
our, just our
The planning
pre-meeting.
meeting? What? The 26th of this month will be the next planning meeting.
The 28th. The 28th is a Saturday. Could we keep it as the 25th to receive the last day of offers?
Sure.
And then we can discuss them at our meeting, and then have them be sent to the council by that Friday, the 27th.
That's fine.
So you guys have the weekend to review it and discuss on the 1st.
Whatever dates you would like, Orden will.
And then we can take the vote on the 15th, or do you want to open it up until the,
I'm fine voting on the 15th.
The 15th.
because I'm fine with discussing it on the 1st.
Yeah.
And then we continue with the vote on the 15th, if we're comfortable with that.
That's entirely up to you folks.
Because then that will give us enough time for the 25th to get those offers in Orden, yes.
Go ahead, may I approach?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
sure.
So timing in designing development doesn't happen overnight. Your timetable you're suggesting can work, we can make it work. Remember that we have the Townsend home that can be a restaurant. Remember, we have the Calhoun house that could be a coffee shop in addition to development at the chapel or in the property to the south of the chapel. So you could have 5 type restaurant uses in that general area fairly quickly with facilities that you already own. So I just thought I would remind you of those. I'm sure that you were aware of those, but
Plus, we have
There are
that
opportunities.
pile of dirt south of the chapel that somebody could come in and bring a restaurant in there and build it.
So really, we
If they
have
can
many
afford it,
opportunities. Yeah, we have many opportunities, and if people even came in after the 25th, they can still make offers in those other properties, is what I'm assuming.
very
Okay.
good. Thank you.
So,
I'm hearing then that you want to have a special meeting on the 1st to discuss the offers.
yes,
You'll call a special meeting for the 1st, and then the regular meeting will be on the 15th, where potentially you could select the
correct,
preferred offer.
correct.
Okay.
And then we'll get, by the end of day, the 26th, we'll get it to the rest of the board.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
And then, could we make a vote if those offers do not flow with the RDA board? Could we do a vote on the 1st?
You would just have to call for a vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because if it says discussion, I was told that it's a discussion and we can't change it into an action item. And that's my understanding, when it's under a discussion
The
item,
agenda
you
will be
cannot.
however you
Yeah,
folks
with
desire
Robert
it
Rules
to
of
be.
Order, you can,
Okay,
if you had a motion, you can make it a vote. We could even vote tonight, if we wanted to. You just
well,
have
I'm
to have a
okay with
motion.
that. I'll take a vote right now.
But,
Because we
okay.
have all all RDA board members here
Yeah.
tonight. I would do a vote right now. Because I know we are going to get offers, and they're not going to flow with the plan that has been set for the historical plaza. And it's not all about money. We have got to remember that. It's not all about money. It's about a business owner who has dedicated 18 years here. That's what it's all about. It's not the best offer.
Okay. So unless I have a motion, I think we're adjourned.
No.
No,
we-
not yet.
we do
Oh, yeah,
have
we have the next item,
Just a couple of
sorry.
items. We can-
I'm so
we can-
ready.
We can blow through
I
these
know.
really quick if you'll just
Okay.
give us just a few minutes.
Yes.
Okay? Zach, if you'll present on the employee down payment assistance.
I'm not
Thank
going to
you.
talk much. I'm just going to say, so in front of you, there should be the resolution for the expansion of the employee down payment assistance program to include people that work for Murray School District and Granite School District. Questions?
The only question I have is that in letter C, it says full-time employees. Could it be part-time employees? Or does it have to be full-time employees? That's my only question on it, because I happen to
leave it
see
in-
full-time.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering if it, for instance, if a Murray City employee was a crossing guard, but her husband was an attorney,
Sure.
or she was playground person or a readings coordinator.
Currently, for the employee side that we've been doing for a few months or year, whatever
Right.
it's been full-time employees. So we're just maintaining that right now. I think once we see how this kind of goes, maybe that's something that we could go into
Okay.
the future and
Okay.
and definitely bring that forward.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other
I will-
questions?
No, I think this is good. I'm excited to expand this to teachers.
Woohoo.
So,
Yeah.
and to employees within the school district.
Yep.
All right, I will,
And so I believe we need a motion.
Yes,
To
I need a
expand
motion.
that, please.
So then I will motion to approve the resolution of the expansion of the employee down payment assistance program to include employees of the Murray and Granite School Districts.
I second it.
okay, Brooke?
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Hawk,
Aye.
Mr. Pickett,
Aye.
Ms. Cotter,
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez.
Aye. All right, perfect. Now projects and updates.
And very quickly, I want to let you know that we had our first kickoff meeting with the Rockworth Development Company concerning Block 1. They are moving ahead very nicely. We're very impressed with their seriousness about this, and we're, as I said, we're very encouraged. Also, we will be requesting $40,000 from the smelter RDA to do conceptual plans for the bridge across State Street. In order for us to get anywhere with a bridge, and this was the #1 priority for that smelter site, RDA, we need to be able to start looking at things, and Trey Stokes, the city engineer, will be leading that effort and contacting some engineers, and we've been assured that that will be more than enough to do some initial concepts for that. And that money is available just in the projects line item in the budget, so it won't take a special allotment or anything like that. So it will give us an idea of what we're looking at, potentially how much it's going to cost and exactly where that could land and what it's going to take. Also, at the next RDA meeting on the 15th, I received a request from Hooper Knowlton, who is a developer that is working in the Fire Clay area. He is he's ready to break ground on a low-income senior housing project. He has been efforting to get tax credit money and special loans from different state agencies. And this past summer, all of the applications for low-income housing in the Salt Lake County area were cut because there were so many applications. They reduced everybody's application. His application was cut just like everyone else's. Those that were in Salt Lake City were funded by a program that Salt Lake City stepped up and picked up the difference. And Hooper is asking if we will have a grant for $400,000 for low-income housing to finish, to flesh out his project over there. So this would be low-income housing credit. We were getting credit for our low-income housing by using the MTAP program.
Mm-hmm.
That is no longer in operation. And so we need to be promoting and actively establishing low-income housing. And this is an excellent opportunity. These apartments will be rented at an average of 41% of the average medium income. And I believe it's 16 or 17 of them will be at a 25% rate. So some of them will be deeply discounted rents, and the others, the entire project, will be less than 50% of the median county income. And it will be for seniors 62 years and older. And a total of 67 units, I believe, will be constructed in the Fire Clay area. And we've seen the plans for this. He's been working on this for quite a while. It's a beautiful project, and I think it would be a great addition to our city. So we'll have more details. He has a detailed email that he gave me today that we will be presenting to you in your packet for the 15th, so you can consider that.
So that would be 400,000 RDA funds.
It's low-income housing funds, specifically low-income housing. Brenda tells me we have approximately $1.6 million in low-income housing that we need to use that for low-income housing. We don't have any other projects right now in the pipeline, so I do think it's crucial that we take advantage of this. It works well for the city, for the RDA, and for Mr. Knowlton as well.
Right. Sounds
Okay.
good.
And let's see, I think that's enough. That's enough for today. All right?
All right.
Okay, should we call
Should
it
we,
good?
yeah, we will call the RDA meeting. Do we want to start 5 minutes after?
So your next meeting is scheduled for 6:25.
6:25, so right now. Should we just do that now?
It's up to you guys.
Okay.
Or do you want
Thank
to
you,
take a
Council.
break and just do the last two together?
Yes, we can do it now.
We can't start now.
Okay, go ahead.
So we could do MBA right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, and yep. Yep.
Okay, we'll do MBA and then we'll.
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah. Thank you all. Okay, go ahead, Diane.
Okay. All right, it's 6:25 and time for the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City for September 17th, 2024. Okay, all council members are present. Is Paul still on the line?
He is, but he's getting ready to get off. But yes, he's on.
Is he going to stay? Okay. All right. So all council members are present, and Paul is on the line. So we're good. All right. We have approval of minutes for the Municipal Building Authority meeting for June 4th, 2024. Are there any changes?
No.
At this point? Okay. I would accept a motion.
I move that we approve Municipal Building Authority meeting minutes for June 4th, 2024.
I second it.
All right, is there discussion on the motion?
No.
Okay, then, Brooke, would you call the roll?
Mr. Hawk.
Aye.
Mr. Pickett.
Aye.
Ms. Cotter.
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Brooke. Okay, now we'll go to the public hearing, which is to consider a resolution amending the budget for the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City for fiscal year 2024-2025. Brenda Moore presenting. Hi, Brenda.
Hello. So we're going to have a public hearing. What we're doing tonight is rolling forward the remaining budget that I haven't already rolled forward in the initial budget. Approximately $164,000 for the City Hall project that we still have left. There's a few items that we're going to do, or I'm going to transfer this back into the CIP fund. And then the Public Works, $18,076,359 for that project. They're getting closer and closer to turning dirt. They've got preliminary plans and stuff like that. So that's the remaining amount of that to roll forward for those two projects. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Brenda? Okay, this is a public hearing, so I will open it for public comment. Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing and send it to the council for discussion or for a motion.
I would like to make a motion
Go ahead.
on the amending the budget for the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Do we have a, thank you. Discussion on the motion?
No.
All right, then, Brent, would you take the vote?
Mr. Hawk.
Take the vote, Brooke.
Mr. Pickett.
Aye.
Ms. Cotter.
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye. Okay. That's it, so we are now adjourned. And
15 minutes?
5 minutes?
Do you want to eat?
So we will reconvene at 6:45.